Well, hello to all of you from around the world. I want to thank you for joining us for another edition of Soulivity today. We're broadcasting live from our studio right here in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. And whether you're at home, driving, or even at work, we're always glad you're here with us. My name is Brian Wesley Johnson, and we have such another amazing show for you today. Today we are once again talking about the transformative power of conscious living and how we can all connect with our divine selves to live our best lives with a wonderful person who's so inspiring, and that's Sheila Applegate. Sheila is a renowned conscious life coach, healer, seer, and best-selling author with over 25 years of experience guiding individuals toward conscious living. Her innovative conscious meditation technique and transformative consciously awesome Gnostic adventure have helped countless people overcome personal roadblocks, spark their imaginations, and embrace lives filled with joy and passion. Her unique blend of therapeutic, intuitive coaching, and divine guidance is trusted by leaders and experts across various industries. Sheila is also the author of a best-selling book called Enchanted One, The Portal to Love, and her meditation album, Enchanted Garden, features music by Grammy Award winner Joanne Shenandoah. And so it is my pleasure to always welcome back to Soulivity today, the radiant Sheila Applegate. How are you, Sheila?
Hey, Brian, I'm doing well. Thank you.
Good. Again, I've been looking forward to this show
Yeah.
specifically because we're continuing our series with you on the 4 pillars of conscious living. But before we get to that, we were just talking offline, talking about conscious living. You did something with your partner that was pretty special this weekend. What did you do?
We went camping in the Wolf Mountain Sanctuary here.
Wow.
And so we got to camp alongside the wolves, and we got to feed them and really connect with them, have a campfire, and it was Lionsgate. So we saw shooting stars and
That's
sang
right. I
songs. There
forgot
was
about that part.
music. It was just an amazing time. And we fed the wolves in the evening, and there's a bridge that they can walk across. A couple of them. All of them are, of course, gated off from us, but they have acres and acres. Some of them have 9 acres to travel within. And for one group, a couple of them, they have this bridge to walk into 2 different sections, and they walk over our heads, and they were doing that. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if they watched us eat tomorrow morning from the bridge? And didn't they do that? We were out there eating our breakfast, and they sat up on the bridge and watched us eat like we did the night before.
They're like, that bacon smells good. That is so awesome. I know, again, my parents were big on like history and knowledge and stuff. And there's such a connection between humans and wolves and that kind of thing. I highly recommend people go and do like a Google search on that, because there's such this beautiful relationship that has existed for centuries and centuries and centuries around humans and wolves. So check that out. So that was cool. I just wanted to let people know about that. I was like, oh man, we got to talk about that today.
It was so much fun. I'm going to do it again next year for sure.
Oh man, again, this is all about conscious living, right? I mean, this was like maybe an example of that in its own way. Again, we are continuing our series with you on the 4 pillars of conscious living, and today we're putting a specific focus on imagination, which is the first pillar. And this is so good. I'm like, yes, 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 yes. Um, so again, when you talk about these 4 pillars of conscious living, you want people to know that you begin with imagination. So the question that I guess many people may ask, and I'm asking you today, is why is imagination so important?
Well, first of all, imagination gets such a bad rap. It's so
Right.
under acknowledged in our world because it is the precursor of everything that we do. There's nothing we do that we don't imagine first. It just happens so quickly that we often don't notice it. And it's really important to slow down to notice that part of our thinking process, because to me, that's our superpower. And when we pay attention to it, we open ourselves up to so many more possibilities. And I just, sometimes people consider imagination to be not within reality. So I just want to quote one of our favorite scientists, Albert Einstein, who says imagination is
Yes.
more important than knowledge. Knowledge is
Woo.
limited, imagination encircles the world. So we need to
Wow.
acknowledge this. We need to acknowledge that every scientific experience that, or experiment or conclusion that we've had in our society has been imagined first.
Wow.
They imagine the possibility. I have a child who is a biochemist. They imagine the possibility and then they spend hours and hours and hours proving it, right? Or disproving it, however that happens. So it is not outside of math. It is not outside of science. It is the most intricate part of everything we do. And when we look at small children, we realize that that is how they learn the most quickly, is through imagination. But that continues throughout our whole life. So really taking time to hone into that natural aspect of our being and use it to our advantage rather than to our hindrance is so important.
Wow. As you're talking, I'm remembering a couple of weeks ago, Sasha and I finally saw Oppenheimer. And I'm remembering in the beginning of the movie where after, it's a movie that shifts back and forth. I won't give it away to those people who haven't seen it yet. Go see it. It's awesome. But one important aspect that is related to what you're talking about is, as Dr. Oppenheimer was thinking about physics and in the universe and all this, he was imagining in his own head, what did that look like? Like he was looking at rain or something like that, and he was imagining what would rain look like at the atomic and subatomic level, right?
Right.
That's not factual, right? That's not something that, to your point, that's not something that you're proving in the moment. You're imagining that that's what the
Right.
reality is. And then you're using science to, again, what you said, to prove or disprove what your imagination is. But it starts there. Also thought about when we look at children and, and what many faith prophets and leaders, Jesus from Buddha, they always talk about be as a child, be as this child, and a sense of wonder and that kind of thing. And what do children always do? They always imagine their lives and doing
Right.
different things and all that kind of stuff. So I'm so glad we're talking about this, because I'm with you. I think this is really essential. It's like an essential part of having a really good life, and the way you're bringing this about is chef's kiss. It's really chef's kiss. Is there other things that we need to keep in mind around the importance of imagination that you're thinking of?
Well, yeah, there's the slowing down, paying attention to it. And then there's two different ways that we can sort of use our attention, our imagination. And one of the first ways we think about it is we visualize. We have an intention and we visualize it, right? And that's a thought first and then a visualization. I do this with parking spots. There's a restaurant that we like to go to, and it's downtown, and it's, the parking isn't very easy. But the first time we went, I imagined getting a parking spot right in front of the restaurant, and we did. And then I was like feeling good. So then I started doing it every time. So now every time I go to this restaurant, there is a parking spot for me, waiting for me right in front of this restaurant. And my confidence builds, my imagination gets stronger, and that just keeps happening. So we can use that more often in our life, just have the intention, and then the sort of evidence gets it stronger in the energy. Then there's the opposite, where we get an image, and then that image directs us. So for me, another fun way of this is shopping. Sometimes I get an image. If I'm going to get a gift for someone, I just sort of surrender and I get an image of what store to go to. Marshall's is actually always a good one because they have so many odd things in there. Like, right? It's like spirit can just hide something in there. And so then I go and then I just wander around until I pick, something seems to attract me. I just get an image, go this way, go that way. And then I grab something, it feels right. And 9 out of 10 times the person is like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I wanted. I had no idea, but I followed the imagination and it led me to that spot. So there's two different ways to play with that when we're just going through our daily life.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And later on in the show, we're going to get to some practical kind of things around like cultivating imagination. But we're going to take a break and let this kind of sink in, because again, I want people to kind of like start the process of like imagining what would it be like to imagine more often, right? And maybe think about, am I really like using that part of my spirit, my soul, my brain? Am I using that, or am I not using it? Am I only using like the more like the 5 senses, like if I can't see it, touch it, that kind of thing? And so just kind of be with that, everybody, as we go into this next break. So thanks, Sheila. Listen, again, we're going to take this quick break. And I know that as we're going through this, you may be thinking like, okay, imagine I got it. But is this something that is like really significant, right? Where are there stories that can be told that I can connect with around like breakthroughs and other things? Well, guess what? Sheila has a personal story where imagine led her to a significant breakthrough in her life. You don't want to miss this. We'll be right back. Soulivity Today is brought to you by Happy Travelers Tours and Old Vine Wine Tours.
Ready to embark on a wine-filled adventure? Book your luxury wine tour today with Old Vine Wine Tours and experience the unparalleled beauty and flavors of Sonoma, Napa, and Lake counties. Old Vine Wine Tours offers transportation for the most amazing experiences in the Sonoma Valley, Santa Rosa, Healdsburg, and all of Sonoma County, as well as the Napa Valley and Clear Lake wineries of Lake County. From boutique tastings to bridal party transportation, we have you covered. Go to Old Vine Wine Tours /Wine in the Weeds for more information. Don't forget to mention promo code Soulivity to get 10% off either a culture or wine tour. Book your adventure today.
6 years ago when I started Soulivity, My vision was to support everyone in improving their life through the discovery of their passion and purpose, so they could become the best version of themselves, to battle fear and ignorance, and create a better world today. Get inspired to live your passion and purpose. Visit Soulivity.com now.
Hey, welcome back to Soulivity Today, where we are talking about conscious living with best-selling author and life coach Sheila Applegate. And today she's sharing information about the first of the 4 foundational pillars essential for living a consciously awesome life: imagination. Sheila, you've always said to people that these foundational pillars are life-changing. But you're just not only speaking about them in that way from just the theoretical. You've had your own personal experiences with the pillars themselves, specifically imagination. Can you share a personal experience where imagination, which is the first pillar, led to a significant breakthrough in your life?
Yeah. Imagination is something that is my foundation. So everything about my life is a breakthrough because of imagination. But there are a couple incidences that I'd like to talk about. One is my health. So when I was younger, when I was in my 30s, I had a near-death experience. I got sick and nearly died with something that wasn't quite understood at the time. And from that point on, I always imagined that in the future, I would become healthier and healthier. And that was a core imagining for me that I've held true. As life went on, I went through a period where it actually got worse over the last several years. But through that whole time, even though all the evidence was showing things were getting worse, that core imagination, the imagination of me in my older years as even more vibrant, even more healthy than I was when I was younger, has been like a cornerstone. And now I'm just at that tipping point where I can see that coming to life and really feel that as a part of my being. And
Right.
different aspects of my life are allowing for that to be. And at the same time, I know that medical advances are going to come into play and intersect as I age. So that's a long-term one, that it's like holding that imagination even during the difficult times.
Right.
That has been a cornerstone to me. Yeah.
I can't help but resonate with that, because as you know, I had my own health challenges where one time I almost died as well. But I also am a Crohn's warrior, and that has always been, those two things coupled together have always forced me to use my imagination, right? And through my imagination, build up this sense of optimism for my life, where it's just a reservoir that's there, where it's a sense of knowing that I'm going to be okay and that kind of thing. And so thank you for sharing that story, because I think a lot of times when we talk about imagination and using it, to your point, when you opened this discussion, it's only used for like in a quote unquote playful kind of like kid, cartoonish is what's coming to my mind, like cartoonish kind of thing. And it's much more than that. That's like, not even imagination 101, right? We're talking about something that is a very, very powerful tool. And that's here that we can access. all the time,
Right.
right?
Yeah. And we are going to imagine no matter what. What
Right.
we have a choice in
Right.
is how we imagine, what way we imagine. And I am not going to lie to you. And I'm sure, Brian, you will probably have had the same experience. There was time and will be time again during this path where I was imagining the worst case scenario,
Right.
where I was
Right.
afraid, where I wasn't trusting my body to get through it. And during those times it got worse, right?
Right.
And
Right.
but that's
Right.
okay, like, because that's the best I could do at that time. But
Mhm.
I knew the power of imagination. So the underlying belief of that knew that, be gentle with myself and move myself towards what I know. I have a choice, right? I can use my power to make this more difficult, or I can use my power to make it easier. And which
Right.
way am I going to choose? So when we look at the world today, no matter what the situation is, yeah, we can focus on imagining the worst case scenario, and that is a possibility. Or we can acknowledge that that's a possibility and make a choice to focus our attention, and therefore our imagination, onto the best case scenario. And in that space, we start to put our energy towards it. We get ideas about how to create that. We move it in that direction. So it is an action that comes
Right.
along with it. And it is a conscious choice. Hence conscious
You know,
living.
I'm so glad that you said that we're always imagining and that this is a choice, because there's the thought that, oh, because we're actively and consciously imagining our lives, that's living in fantasy, right?
Right.
And that is completely, it's like in The Last Jedi, where Luke says to Rey, everything about that you just said was wrong. where it's like, no, it's not fantasy. You're always imagining. And a lot of times we're imagining the worst possible outcome. So we're trying to protect ourselves from it, right? By doing things to avoid what we've imagined. And it's like, well, doesn't it make more sense just to imagine like real positive outcomes, and the world is your oyster kind of outcomes and that kind of thing, and cut out the other stuff and just move into that first? I think that we would have a lot less stress and anxiety about our
Right.
lives, and open up to new possibilities. Am I right about this?
Yeah. And then our actions are preceded by possibilities instead of we become on the offense instead of the defense, right? We're now making a conscious choice of the direction we want our life to be in, instead of just constantly deflecting what we don't want.
Right. Because again, the universe doesn't understand the word like not. Like, it's always I, or I am, or I want, and not I don't want. It doesn't understand that. So this is so cool. I love it. Listen, we're going to take another break. And Sheila, when we come back, you're going to actually give us ways to actually start cultivating imagination in our daily lives. We kind of started talking about it a little bit in this segment, but you're going to even go deeper. So we're going to take this break, everybody, and we'll be back with more of Soulivity today in just a second. Hi there, this is Brian with Soulivity.com. I want to share some exciting news about our new Aspire Academy by Soulivity. Now, you probably want to know what the Aspire Academy by Soulivity is. Well, it exclusively connects you with people around the globe and who share the intense desire to improve themselves and create a better life for themselves today. There's classes, there's workshops, there's live events, and even more exclusively just for you. You see, I wanted you to have a safe space where you could grow, you can learn, and it would empower you in all aspects of your life, including your mind, your body, and your soul. So how do you get started? Well, it is so easy. First of all, the best part, joining Aspire Academy is absolutely free. Just click on the Join Now button, sign up, and begin your journey. As a special part of this invitation to you, there are some free courses that are available for you to try from our amazing roster of coaches and collaborators. It's our way of saying thank you for all of your support and being with us along our journey of expansion. I hope you enjoy the Aspire Academy by Soulivity today. Start the process. Learn more about your passion, your purpose, and how to live a higher quality life.
For more information about Aspire Academy by Soulivity, visit aspire.soulivity.com today.
Well, welcome back to Soulivity today, where we are talking about conscious living with best-selling author and conscious life coach Sheila Applegate. We are talking about the first of 4 foundational pillars essential for living a consciously awesome life, which is imagination. Love that word. I love that word. I love imagination. All right. So we've gone through 2 segments, Sheila. We know the importance of imagination, and we know that by using it, we can create different outcomes and even have significant breakthroughs, right? But in living a more, passion-filled, purposeful life. But how do we bridge the gap, right? I mean, there's this gap that's there between us being, and I won't say that we're not using our imagination, because we're using it all the time. I'll say that it's more of it being unconscious to conscious. How do we bridge that gap? How can we cultivate this active, conscious use of imagination in our daily life?
Yeah. So a couple ideas is, one is you have to start by being aware of how often you're imagining. And so you want to begin to be the observer self and sort of notice, if you're looking for something that you lost, are you picturing where you last put it? Are you picturing a room? Are you ignoring where you're thinking it, you're getting an image, but you're ignoring it because it couldn't possibly be there? I remember back when I was really sick, my kids were very young. And Justin was like 2 years old. My in-laws were going to take the kids out so I could sleep, and they couldn't find Justin's shoe. And so they're looking around, and I was so tired. And I was like, and I got this image of Justin's shoe being halfway down the hamper. And I ignored it, because why would a shoe be halfway down the hamper, right? And then I'm trying to sleep, and they're going around and around. But then I finally gave up because I was so tired. I got up, I dumped the hamper halfway down. There's Justin's little shoe, and Justin's little wee voice going, "Oh, now I remember." They had put it in there. So we have to pay attention to those crazy things, because that's when we get our evidence. When we follow something, if it's not going to hurt you, follow something that seems bizarre. When you think, I should take an an umbrella. Go back. Zach is always thinking like, why don't you listen every time? You know how good your intuition is, but I don't always listen. But, sometimes you go back for that umbrella and it doesn't rain, but you might leave it in the car and the next time it rains, it might be there for you. So you have to just like start to practice and play with it. And then another thing is notice whether you're moving your imagination, moving kind of into a bigger section. Are you moving your imagination into worry or into hope, right? And if you're worrying a lot, that's imagination. So I like to tell people, get a little wristband. And every time you think of yourself worrying, because worrying, right? Think about it, Brian, right? If you worry, how do you worry? With pictures, right? You're imagining everything that could go wrong with detail and emotion. That's power. So whenever you notice that you're doing that, just take the wristband, switch it to your other hand and cut that. It cuts the brain, and then start thinking of all the ways things could go right. And just that move is reprogramming your brain so that you stop that habit of moving towards the negative.
Wow.
So those are 2 tips.
Sometimes I forget how awesome my folks were, because one thing that they and again, this is coming back around, and it's coming back around because I guess Spirit's saying you need to be doing this more. It's why we're probably having this conversation right now, because one thing they used to teach us to do was, whenever you start picturing yourself, like you said, from a place of worry or anxiety, and it's like this worst case thing, say cancel cancel that.
Yeah.
Cancel that. No, we're not going to do that. We're not doing that today. I know Yana Van Zandt is big about that, right? No. She'll say things like, shut up. She'll even say, shut up. We're going to think positively about this and shift over, right? So it's so vital. So thank you for that reminder for me, and for people who haven't done, who are not doing that gift, because it really is really important to observe what you're imagining, just observe first, and then notice what you're imagining in terms of outcomes, because that's one way of really seizing control of your life, right, in a conscious way. And gosh, it gets me kind of emotional, because it's like one of those big steps, like big and bold steps, moving out of where you're kind of sleepwalking into being more awake.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And paying attention. Yeah. Because when we imagine with emotion, and that's what we do when we worry, when we imagine with emotion, that's one of the most powerful manifestation energies. So we constantly recreate that which we're wishing we wouldn't recreate, right? And so then we have evidence that the world is like this. And so we get caught in this cycle, and we need to break that cycle, and we need to move our energy into the positive and our emotions into what we desire. And then now we start getting evidence about that coming true. And then our life starts to shift drastically.
So important. Thank you for that, Sheila. Listen, we're going to let all that sink in again, and we're going to take this short break, but we'll be back with final thoughts from Sheila about everything we discussed today, as well as an important practice that is part of her conscious living, processes and methods and that kind of thing. And that's the practice of conscious meditation. So stay right here.
Would you like to be one of the first people to experience mental freedom? Mental freedom is a coaching practice with 6 core principles: improving hope, self-efficacy, optimism, resilience, and general well-being. Mental freedom only takes 6 sessions. It is designed to give you the tools you need to help yourself. It can help with any situation, relationship problems, past trauma, career decisions, parenting challenges, addiction, and mental health concerns. Incorporating the mental freedom framework into your life will deliver an approach to master any situation and a pathway toward achieving inner peace. Mental freedom provides the information and tools that you need to grow and be bigger than anything that ever happens to you. So if you're looking for one-on-one or a group coaching program that will allow you to address any situation that comes up in your life with practical tools to give you more peace and joy, then join the Mental Freedom Program in Soulivity's Aspire Academy. There are very limited spots available, so don't delay. I hope to see you there.
Sign up today at soulivity.com/Teresa Mental Freedom Today.
Well, hello there. We're back here with more on Soulivity today as we talk about conscious living with best-selling author and conscious life coach Sheila Applegate. Sheila, I'm so glad we're doing this series, and we're beginning it with imagination. And this is just, it's awesome. It's really awesome. And these are like things that we can really grasp and take in and do, like starting every day. And it's like, again, it's practical in helping us move forward. I mean, the basic is something that my mom always says, because when you know better, you do better, right?
Mhm.
So one practice that you recommend for everyone is meditation. I would say, and not but, and you want us to practice conscious meditation. How does conscious meditation differ from other forms of meditation?
Yeah. So, you know what? When I was in college, I really wanted to meditate, and I was really terrible at meditating. I tried so hard, and I would get so frustrated and so mad at the person living above me. I was convinced they had created a bowling alley just to frustrate me above my head. And I knew that was not what meditation was supposed to be. So then when I got out of college, my first supervisor told me about these courses in guided meditation. That worked for me. My brain works very fast. It likes to think, it likes to imagine, and it goes over time. So telling it to be quiet is not going to work. Bringing it along works. And since I think imagination is our superpower, it makes sense to bring it along. So conscious meditation is a guided meditation. And that means that I guide people along, telling you a story, and you listen to it as if you were a child listening to a bedtime story. You allow it to come alive. It enhances your imagination. It allows you to explore. As I taught guided meditation over the years, I developed different techniques that have molded into conscious meditation, because what I also realized is that a lot of times in meditation, people leave their body, or they have a sense of disconnecting. And so if you have an issue in life, you might meditate, you feel great, you take that good feeling with you, but then your day goes on and it dwindles, and you might get in a fight, go meditate, clear it, come back,
Right.
So conscious meditation brings it into your body. It gently guides you into pure consciousness that resides deep within, and it connects you to your own source energy. It keeps you connected to your body and integrating it at all times, where the ultimate goal is that you can access those higher levels of your consciousness naturally as you go through your day without even meditating, like beyond meditation. So that's what conscious meditation does.
Wow.
And it's fun.
Wow. Yeah, it is fun. It is fun. and it's even becomes more fun as you use those things, and you, like you were saying before in the last segment around observing, right? Observing your world
Mhm.
more, that you'll start seeing things shift, and
Right.
and that kind of thing. I mean, you have to pay attention and not judge the degrees of shifting. Just let the shifts come, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm trying to. I had a thought earlier, and I'm trying to bring it back because it was really, 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 really good around something that you had said in the last segment around cultivating imagination. Um, you know, this isn't your imagination doesn't have limits, so it doesn't matter if you're using your imagination, like you were saying, for parking spaces or shopping. You can also use this in the workplace, right? Where I'm imagining a very peaceful, stress-free kind of environment with harmony, right? In my former life, I did a lot of things with business development and sales and marketing and that kind of thing. So I I I was using my imagination to attract to me the best and right customers where I could close more easily, and that they felt wonderful about whatever I was selling
Uh-huh.
them and that kind of thing, that it was this perfect union, like, oh, you came at the right time. And undoubtedly, the customers that I had would always say, wow, your timing was perfect.
Right. That's conscious marketing. That's what I do too.
Exactly, right?
I'm not going to try to push anyone to work with me. I only want to work with the people that are meant to be, and it's going to be at the exact right time.
Exactly. And so it's like you're like, oh wow, I was imagining this, and that kind of thing, and this perfect person came in, and willing to have this relationship, this business relationship with me. So again, imagination has no limits, and so you can use
Yeah.
it for your life, and that's what it's designed to do. It's designed to do that. Any quick final thoughts before we go to this last break that you're thinking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah, I just, we're talking about imagination, and that is the springboard that moves into what is called gnosis, and that's that inner knowing. And so we take this imagination and we let ourselves play with it. We integrate it into meditation and we begin to explore more. And like you said, Brian, our life begins to change. And from that space, we have inner knowing, we have inner guidance, whatever language we want to use. And it becomes easier to navigate each moment of our life, to deepen our relationships, to have more compassion for the people in our life, to be able to see from their perspectives and to connect with people. I have
Right.
two children who now live at the other side of the country, but I don't feel apart from them because we've got such an established connection from a soul level that even when we do talk, we know what's going on. We have a telepathic connection, just this
Mm,
ongoing relationship through what was originally imagination and becomes something more than that.
wow. Wow. That's beautiful. And that's a perfect way to end this segment. I love this. I love this. Listen, we're going to take a short break, but we got more of Soulivity today coming up, everyone. So we'll be back in just a few. Soulivity today is brought to you by
Happy Travelers Tours and Old Vine Wine Tours.
Ready to embark on a wine-filled adventure? Book your luxury wine tour today with Old Vine Wine Tours and experience the unparalleled beauty and flavors of Sonoma, Napa, and Lake counties. Old Vine Wine Tours offers transportation for the most amazing experiences in the Sonoma Valley, Santa Rosa, Healdsburg, and all of Sonoma County, as well as the Napa Valley and Clear Lake wineries of Lake County. From boutique tastings to bridal party transportation, we have you covered. Go to Old Vine Wine Tours /wine in the weeds for more information. Don't forget to mention promo code Soulivity to get 10% off either a culture or wine tour. Book your adventure today.
Hey, we're back here with more on Soulivity today, and let's get to some gifts from the heart. I love that. I love that little gifts from the heart. It's always wonderful. Sheila, you've got something that's really practical based upon everything that we talked about today that people can use, and it is absolutely free. Can you talk to people about what you are giving today?
Yeah. So since we were talking about imagination and I introduced the idea of conscious meditation, I want to give you an opportunity to try a free manifestation meditation. So this is a conscious meditation that I use imagination to lead you in on a little magical journey and just help you begin that practice. Or if you're used to meditating, I'd love to hear how you like this technique to sort of begin the process of creating that life that you desire and bringing your imagination into your life as that superpower that it is. So you can access that by the link that we're sharing here and on Aspire. Is that right, Brian?
Yeah, we're going to put this on Aspire as well, which is SheilaApplegate.com /manifestation meditation. That's SheilaApplegate.com /manifestation meditation. I'm sure if you went to SheilaApplegate.com, it'll probably be there as well. We're going to put this on the Aspire platform for all of our subscribers who are there, because guess what? You deserve some manifestation stuff as well. This is, because this is what we do. We provide all this stuff so that people can create their better lives today. This has been wonderful for me. I'm sure for our audience as well, Sheila, because I think a lot of times, we're reading different things, or we try to access different books and that kind of stuff, and people who may be kind of like just becoming aware that, listen, the way that I'm currently living my life, I feel as though I'm not moving, I'm not like progressing. I feel, again, stressed out, anxious about what's happening, that they need that first step into where they need to go. And what you're talking about is a beautiful first step that they can take, and that will have really, you'll notice things, everybody. You will notice things pretty immediately as you commit to doing this and doing it on a consistent basis. In fact, as you do it, let us know. Just send us an email at soulivity@soulivity.com and let us know. Oh, yeah,
you'll have fun doing it.
Yeah, and have fun. Yeah, that's the other thing. Have fun doing it too. So thank you, Sheila. Thank you so much for sharing your light and love through your purpose and passion of sharing with people like just these specific foundational pillars. We talked about imagination today. What do we talk about next time? What what's the next pillar?
The next
that
one we're going to talk about and explore deeper is upgrading our beliefs.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Upgrade.
Moving into fluid beliefs.
Some upgrade. Oh man, thank you. Thank you. So when we say that you're radiant, Sheila, we really mean it. You just
thank you, Brian.
Yeah. Yeah. We really mean it here. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you again for sharing your light and love. And I can't wait to talk about the next pillar of upgrading our belief systems with you next. I'm going to bring some pen and paper so that I can make sure that I'm taking notes like I did today. I was actually taking notes. I was actually taking notes today. So do it so I can do my own homework.
Nice.
All right, listen, everybody. We're running out of time. I just want to remind everybody that, listen, we are on social media. We're on all the major platforms. So subscribe to our social media channels like Facebook, Instagram. Just do a search for Soulivity on those platforms, and we'll pop up. Just follow us, and you'll get information and news that you can use. Also, all our shows are a podcast, so you can go to your favorite podcast provider. Again, do a search for Soulivity, and you'll find us there. Also, want to remind you to go to soulivity.com. Subscribe to our website there, so you can be added to our mailing list, because we send out different things to all our subscribers. Also, just want to remind everyone about, listen, we've got a fantastic upcoming course with Dr. Mark Mancola, the Whole Health Healing System. This is a renowned worldwide renowned doctor using Eastern philosophy to help create a different level of conscious health and wellness for ourselves as well. Also want to remind you, please, as Sheila was saying, check out her manifestation meditation at SheilaApplegate.com/manifestation-meditation. This is a free gift from the heart, from her heart to you, will help you manifest your best life today as we learn more about these fantastic foundational pillars. Couple of other things really quickly. Last week we shared with you our newest co-host, Gaia Marin, with Gaia on the Go. Her shows are talking about travel and the kind of things. So go check her out at her website at Gaia on the Go, and go listen to our show last week on this, the last time that we were on with her. So her show is like fantastic as well. Listen, man, always a pleasure to be with you guys. Always a pleasure to share with you all these fantastic things that we're doing here at Soulivity, on Soulivity today. That we hope that you come back and join us for every show on Soulivity TV or on select radio stations from coast to coast. Until next time, just keep these things in mind. We are the place to have real conversations that empower you. And what we're trying to do is empower you to learn what your passion is, learn about that thing that excites your heart and moves you forward, so you can use it to serve our world. That's your purpose. Because sooner than later, you're going to create a life full of high quality living, your best life today. So next time, we'll see you soon. Bye for now.
This work is subject to copyright owned by Affinity Global LLC. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this is expressly prohibited unless Affinity Global LLC has explicitly